Well, something happened this past Saturday that totally caught me off guard. And I don't even I was surprised by it because it was our all day declutter for the Take Your House Back course. It was our 14th all day declutter. So we've done this for multiple years now. We've got it pretty dialed in. It's awesome. It's fun. We have thousands of women join us and we declutter live. But here's what happened over the lunch hour. Cass and Dana and I, we come together and we just have fun. We answer questions. And at the beginning of it, we start with just a quick life update. And so I'm going to share just a short clip from this. You'll notice Dana's in the car because she was driving to a wedding. She's not normally in a car. But we're each going to give a quick life update. And then what happened at the end was it shocked me even and caught me off guard. And it was so cool. And then we can come back and we can talk about it a little more.
Cass, question, catch those up, what you graduated with.
I graduated Firefighter Academy, I guess. So I was actually done that 6 months ago, but then I still had 6 months of training. So a year and a half of firefighter schooling and training, and I'm officially done and an official, no longer recruit and full-fledged firefighter.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did your speech go?
It went okay, I think.
It wasn't quite like the ADHD conference where you have like standing ovation and people like crying, and
there was some crying, which I appreciated. Actually, I was talking about like a fellow classmate and this situation that happened. And then I'm doing really good and I look and he's crying. And then I'm like, I started to like get choked up. And then my captain was crying and she's so that was. Yeah, it's hard when you're talking about emotional things and you're like, whatever you do, don't cry because they will never let you live it down.
Yeah, they won't.
They're so mean, you guys. So mean.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dana, what's new in your world? How is the book like coming? Do you have your next round in of revisions?
Yeah, it's technically due in the next couple of days and it's just about there. So it's mostly there. You know, I have to go back over to bajillion times, but this is also just the first manuscript, right?
Oh, this is the first round. Okay.
Yeah, there'll be so this is the biggest one, but then there'll be lots and lots of rounds.
Got it.
After that. So.
And there was a question too that said, Dawn, mention your accomplishment. I did graduate with my master's degree in psychology last weekend. So, you know, it actually, it didn't feel like an accomplishment. I wasn't going to go to the graduation. It was in Las Vegas. And I never went for my undergrad because I was just getting into getting married and all that. And so I'm like, what's the big deal? There was something about being there with 1,200 other people, anywhere from associates up to doctorate that had set out to do something and finished it, you know? And it was actually really powerful. And so I was glad that I went. And that actually did make it feel more real, like it was a real accomplishment, not just okay, did that, move on with life. So I think those celebrations are important. I'll probably put more emphasis on them moving forward. So anyways, big things in the works for all of us. But I think we would all agree that getting our houses decluttered and simplified actually was a catalyst for us being able to feel like we could do things like this. I see Dana, totally. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I feel like the thing I say is that my house doesn't hold me back anymore. And it used to hold me back. So either because it literally did, because I couldn't do the thing, or because it was just something that was weighing on me as I have got to get this thing figured out before I can, do anything else.
Yeah, totally. I was actually just listening to a podcast too, and they were talking about how, many of us are trying to find meaning and purpose, but they'll actually find that people that feel like they have a sense of control in life, and I think there's wisdom in knowing what you can control and can't control, that it actually correlates to meaning and purpose. And I think we usually think of meaning and purpose as like out here and big, but when we feel like we are in control, then we have a better sense of meaning and purpose. And so what can we control? We can control our house. There's a lot of things we can't control, but we can control that. So yeah, you agree with that, Cass?
Yeah, definitely. I also think it's like the self-confidence that came. It sounds so stupid, but like when my house was messy and out of control, I really felt like, well, this should be easy. This is basic. Like, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. I'm lazy or I'm this. Like, I really allowed my home to say mean things to me. So then how could I have confidence to do not only how could I be a firefighter, I couldn't do any.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have confidence to do anything because
Yeah.
the state of my home was really, really like a kick in the nuts. Let's be real.
Yeah. And that's where I think too, then when we're like, the three of us are like literally throw it in a black trash bag. I think, you know, now we're a little further down the path and we know how much is on the line. Like we know what's at stake for you. And so when you're deliberating over something you spent $5 on or even $50 on, like, I think we all want to be like, it's not worth it. Like there's such like cooler things out there and it looks different for all of us. But like, no, don't worry. Like get rid of it, move on, get your house under control. And yeah, there's like a lot cooler things on the horizon. So that's why we do what we do. And that's why we get together and we do these days.
Isn't that so cool? So I didn't even realize until we were all just like giving our life updates. So Dana's working on another book. I don't even know what book this is for her, about productivity, which is so cool. Yeah, many are like, Cass is a firefighter? What? Yeah, a full-fledged firefighter. And then, like I shared, I did just graduate with my master's degree too, which I had shared a little while back too, but the ceremony was a couple weeks ago. I'll share a little bit more about that, which was so cool. And I'm seeing comments here like, where do you have the time, right? And I believe that the reason we have the time and the mental capacity, because all these things actually take a lot of bandwidth too, is because our homes are so highly simplified. And that's where when I heard all this, because I mean, we've talked about before, like how cool that we've been able to do YouTube channels and different things like that in and itself has been awesome accomplishments for all of us. And we're all like, we're messy people. We're three former messy people. Like we never thought we'd be talking about this, right? So just the fact that this is what we do now is in and of itself like super cool, right? And we attributed that to our simplified houses and the confidence and the ability and the bandwidth to do that amongst raising families and all of that. And then now that we've also been able to add other things on top of it. And again, when you're like, where do you have the time? I don't even think it's so much about time. I think it's about confidence and bandwidth, about emotional energy. And that's what I feel like we really freed up and gained when we simplified our homes. And so the Take Your House Back course it's not open right now. We'll open it up again at the end of the year. If you're not in it, it's a blast and we get so much done. And we have conversations like that all of the time. Every 2 weeks we go live in there and then we do 3 times a year, we do the all day declutters. Right now, the best way I could come alongside you and support you is through our membership community. But I am going to talk more about my graduation because there was a couple mind-blowing things there that just had me in tears too. But I do want to let you know, I have free resources for you. I love if you join our membership group. It's $22 a month right now on special, normally $45, just because we get to spend so much time together, but whatever. Right now, it's all about free stuff that I want to offer to you. We have our free organized Christmas planner. I think, Jackie, is this the 4th year we've done it? I don't know. A handful of years ago, I was like, we have to get a grip on holidays. Like Christmas sucks. Like Christmas sucks. It literally sucks the life out of us. And I was so tired of seeing all of my friends, like you and family and everyone, all the women around me, so stressed, anxious, burnt out, overwhelmed. And everyone was like vowing the same thing. Like, I'm not going to do that again next year. Right. And so I'm like, something's got to give. And so how do we simplify the holidays so that we're not letting anyone down? Like we can still give our kids and our grandkids an awesome Christmas, right? We just got to be really strategic about it. And so that's what this is all about. It is new and improved and better than ever. So we have our planner, and then we also have the 5-day live workshop that goes alongside of it, because I was like, we're just going to do like a 1-day thing, like, workshop or whatever. And then as I was like planning out the content, I was like, oh, good night. How could we like possibly fit all of this into just 1 day, right? So anyways, if you've joined us before, we have our, there we go. So it's the 5 days to Organize Christmas workshop. We'll go live for 5 days starting on Monday, October 20th. So a week and a half away. Replays available. They don't expire. I'm not going to put that stress on you. Totally free, right? So you can join us for that. And then right now, if you just pop in your email address, you'll get the free planner right away. Here's what I have to tell you. I have a warning about the planner though. It ended up being 100 pages, which it is not fluff. I am not about filler. That bugs me when you get like a free printable and it's just like a bunch of stuff they stuck in just so they could say it's 100 pages. I was actually trying to keep this as lean as possible. But what it made me realize is how much we actually juggle during the holidays. And all of the things. And for most of us, we manage it up here, and that is way too stressful. And we end up reacting and not making good strategic decisions about how we want to spend our time and our money. I had a poll going in the YouTube community section, and it's like, what's most stressful about you or about this time of year? Gifts, huge. Money, family dynamics. We're going to talk about all those things. We have simple, practical tips and hacks. And right now is actually the perfect time to be doing that planning. So we're going to set aside a little time here in October so that we can head into the holidays with a game plan, a strategy, know when we're going to do all the things and what things just have to give this year. And we're going to do it intentionally. And our kids are still going to have an awesome Christmas, and it's going to be really good. And so I'm really excited about that. So there's a link down below. Again, totally free. There are no upsells. There are no surprises. Like I hate all of that too, right? So free planner, free workshops. If you can't join us live, it's fun if you join us live. If not, there's replays. You just follow the same link. And we're going to have a really fun giveaway at the end of it too. We're going to do a favorite things giveaway. Lots of gift ideas scattered throughout it. We're doing each day, we're going to do a trash bag toss together. We're going to do that together. So you're literally at the end of each session going to have things planned out and things moved out of your house. So new and improved, better than ever. If you have joined us in the past, it was good. Like I was really happy with it. But this year, I don't know why. I feel so passionately this year that we just have to do things differently. It's probably because I have been hearing from other women we've kind of stuck together the last few years through this, that they have been able to cut back and simplify, and it has made their holidays so much more enjoyable. And I love hearing that. I'm so happy for them. I know that's been my experience definitely too. But now I want that for everyone, right? So that's what I told Jackie, my right-hand gal. I was like, you got to stop me because I'm like trying to save the world with this planner, and I'm just keep adding stuff to it that I think is really important. So there's lots of checklists and guides and tips and all that. My hope is that it is very, very practical for you. Anyways, so that's free. There is a link for that. Okay, I want to tell you a little bit more about my graduation because it kind of blew my mind a little bit. And then I'll definitely leave some time to answer questions too. That's always fun to do when we're together live. And so I finished my master's degree in general psychology earlier this summer in June. I'm just planning to use it for the psychology of decluttering and share more stuff like here with you about it. I really enjoy that. So I'm not planning to like get a job in that or change careers or anything. So just so you know, I'm not planning on going anywhere. And so then they sent out the information. So I did it through the University of Phoenix, which that's where I also did my bachelor's degree. Had a really great experience with them. This also was stellar. I'm not sponsored, but I would recommend them to anyone. And so then they sent out the information for graduation ceremonies. Now we live, in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. There weren't any here. They float around the locations because they're an online school serving adult learners. And so the next time that was closest to when I could do was in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't do it for my undergrad. I should go to this. And it was so funny. So I signed up back then and started making some travel plans and stuff. And then even as it got closer, like life was busy. And I'm like, this is silly. Do I even need to go or whatever? There was something about walking out with 1,200 people that had also finished a degree. It was so much more powerful than I expected. And, there is just something about being around people who said, hey, I'm going to do this, right? And they set out to do it. And that's why I also, like we were even saying in the Take Your House Back course, that's why I love spending time with all the women in there, because we're all on a mission. And in my membership group, we're all on a mission. That's why I'll look forward to spending the time for the 5 days to organize Christmas with you. We're like, hey, let's conquer this. Let's do it. If we're going to do it, let's do it well, right? But there was something really powerful about being there. And then my mom sent me this picture. So the kids didn't come with, but they were live streaming it. And so they were able, oh shoot, it's going to make me tear up. I have to try not to cry on this at all. And I was like, oh crap, and obviously we know our kids are watching everything that we do. Sometimes that's a horrifying thought, right? And then she sent this and I'm like, oh crap. That made it feel even more meaningful, because sometimes we do these kind of intangible things. And so the tangible thing that marks it is actually pretty important. So that was like pretty cool to see too. Just like, hey, you know, mom had wanted to do this for a long time and did it, you know? And so that was awesome and really powerful. But something else that happened while we were there, I wonder if the picture, I was trying to pull in another picture here when, so we got there, I had to be there an hour early, like before the ceremony started. And so it was at the University of Las Vegas, big, like, you know, stadium and everything. And so I didn't actually know how it was all going to go or play out. And so, what they did was they had us like stand in like the tunnel, right? So like sports things or other events, like where like a sports team would come in through. Oh shit, let me show this photo. And so we were all standing in there and I'm, you know, just surrounded by all the other graduates. And we ended up having to stand there for an hour then. I didn't know we weren't all going to go in until it actually started, right? And so you know, you get kind of visiting with the people around you. And so I was talking to the gal behind me and we had an hour, right? So like, what'd you graduate with? What are you doing next, right? And it was really cool to hear, like, she works in the school system and some cool things. She also was getting her master's in psychology, what she wanted to do with it. It was so inspiring. It was so cool. But then she asked what I did. That's always a tricky question. I'm like, oh, I just help women like declutter and simplify their homes. And then this is like generally the next response is like, oh, I wish you'd come to my house, right? And she said, yeah, I've actually been noticing, and she was a single mom with 3 kids, and darn it, I'm going to start crying again. I'm just pull it together. And so she said, yeah, I've actually been noticing, I've been feeling kind of stuck in my house. And she said she actually went through colon cancer a year ago, which I'm like looking at this one, we're like, you're too young. Like that's no, right? And she said, you know, I look around my house and I know like I want to declutter and I want to like simplify things, but she's like, I don't know what it is about this time of year. She's like, I've just been feeling really down and stuck. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, 1000%. I think a lot of us can relate to that. And there is something like, I mean, you've maybe heard there's like a book called like The Body Keeps the Score. And we're learning a lot more now about how like trauma is stored in our body. And so times of year, well, like that can definitely bring things up. And also our physical stuff too can be reminders, right? But what's the problem? Like when you're feeling down and like this is coming on you, you're kind of like, where's this coming from and why? And I thought I was through it and I should be happy right now. I'm in remission and all that. How we kind of can feel stuck. But there is something so powerful about actually like getting rid of the stuff that reminds us, bringing our environment into order. Again, that sense of control, like I was talking about with Cass and Dana. But again, it's so hard because we don't feel like it then, right? When she's like, it's the time of year, I'm feeling it again, right? We're not like, I know, let's go declutter my house, right? A lot of times we don't trust our decision-making progress. We feel kind of foggy anyways. And so that's where I've also just been feeling it so passionately that we have to stick together. Like whatever that looks like. If you have a friend that can come over and help you declutter, like that's so cool. Like if we can spend time together in the 5 days to an organized Christmas and just like cheer each other up and joke around and have fun, but also like get some stuff done, which feels so good to us. Even I was just talking to my mom. I mean, I'm talking about decluttering, but there's other things too. My mom, you know, I talk about all the time. I love my mom is the coolest, like biggest cheerleader. Start crying again, right? So proud of me for my master's, everything I do, right? Like truly like one of my biggest super fans, supporters, right? And so if not the biggest, but we were, and I talk about how she likes to like rubber stamp and stuff. And right now she's working on Halloween cards for the local retirement center and stuff. And she was just saying this morning, she's like, you know, I was feeling kind of a funk yesterday. And you know what I had to do? I came and sat down at the table and started working on cards again. And then I felt better. And I'm like, yeah, there's something about like, I believe we were made to create and we were made to achieve and to do things. But it's so hard that when life starts beating us down, our natural instinct is not like, oh, I need to go sit down and do that craft that's really life-giving to me. You know, I need to just clear my kitchen counters. And so that's where sometimes we do need someone to come alongside of that, us to do that. And I hope you have people in your natural context that can do that with you. I mean, I truly believe there's nothing better than doing that in person with someone that we know and love. But if not, I'm also so grateful that there are so many resources online now. And I know people that quilt together virtually, you know, I mean, pretty much anything you can think of, right? You can do over FaceTime, right? And so I love that too. And of course, like if you're wanting to declutter, like, good night, could I please help you? Like, I think that's what I'm feeling passionate about too, is like this past year in our membership group. I mean, not only has that group seen me through like just a crap year, right? Like good things, obviously, and hard things too, right? But we've also added in like the household management systems to our membership group, where we're talking about meal planning and cleaning routines and our calendars and to-do lists. And I think it's just been nice to have a space where we can all say, like, this is hard and we are juggling so much. And for the longest times, we have felt like losers in these areas, but it's not us, right? Like, when we're all like, oh, me too, me too. And we're like, what? Like, we've all been feeling this way. Why does nobody talk about this, right? And not in the talk about it in the way like, oh, well, life is just a hot mess and, you know, this is just how it's going to be. So kind of like this, like, acceptance of it, of like, no, like, we have to control the things we can control, so that then when the things come along that we can't, my goodness, so we can get through it, right? So we can survive it somewhat gracefully with a touch of dignity intact, right? And so this idea of being able to control the things that we can, so when the other things come along, we don't lose all sense of purpose or totally sink maybe as low as we might have in the past. It's been really powerful. And so that's probably the passion I'm feeling right now, of just getting kind of through this now a little further, and some things going well and going right, and being like, hey, wow, this like makes all of the difference. And like we said, like, my goodness, permission to throw it in a black trash bag and move on with life, because there are such more important things out there, right? Like, I want you to be sitting at your table crafting or quilting or spending time with your grandkids or getting a degree or volunteering or like going for that work promotion that you're hoping for, whatever it is. Like, I love that it's like a little bit different for all of us, but yet that we're so much the same too. And that, like, sometimes we just get kind of stuck and overwhelmed and lose all confidence in ourselves. And I'm like, well, I can't even keep my house clean. How on earth could I go do something like that? So anyways, I do hope you join us for the organized Christmas. No matter what season of life you're in, just so you know, we have every demographic, season of life. I mean, it's like women, right? But like every season of life, live alone, empty nesters, kids at home, parent, grandkids, like all the things. It's like super fun. So, and it's fun when we can come together and kind of, you know, talk about Christmas with all those nuances and what do you do for this? What do you do for that? And then you hear an idea from someone, you're like, brilliant. Why didn't I think about that? I'm texting it to my daughter-in-law now, right? Or that gift idea that you're like, ooh, this is gonna be so fun to give, right? So anyways, totally free. Sign up down below. You'll get the planner right away. So you can take a look at it. I apologize that it's 100 pages. Just pick out the pages you want to print or whatever. I don't want your printer to run out of ink or anything. So, all right. Well, that was what I kind of wanted to share with you today. So I would love to take a little time just to answer your questions. Anything is fair game. If you put a question mark in front of it in the comments, it makes it a little bit easier for me to grab. All right. Oh, this is so sweet. Before I found Dawn, I was completely lost and felt hopeless. When she said, you don't have to keep everything anyone has ever given you, I was stunned. I went crazy hauling stuff out of our house. Yes, Tammy. That's awesome. That is a freeing moment, right? When you're like, oh, you mean I don't have to keep all this stuff? Oh, okay. That's awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Just want to say thank you. You inspire your family so much. I don't know. That's like still, again, I'm like, me? Really? Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that. That's awesome. Awesome. Your teachings have given me the skill of determining which things I value most when downsizing my art studio down to one cabinet. I kept only the things I use now. Hey, Gina, I am so glad you said that, because I actually did want to touch on this too. We did live decluttering inside of our membership group this morning. And there was a great question that came up that said, like, hey, if you're creative, artsy, or you have artsy kids, like, are you just naturally going to have a messy space? Like, is that just being creative? But here is what I have learned, because we've had like professional artists in our membership group and lots of crafty women, right? And I consider myself like, I love crafting and that. And I used to say like, well, I'm messy because I'm creative, right? Like, don't put me in the box of you type A, super organized people, right? Like, it was almost like part of my identity, right? But what we've actually landed on as like creative types is that women in like simplified, more organized, they don't have to be perfectly organized environments, actually feel more creative and more inspired. And so it was funny because Adeline last night, this is just totally random. She was like, Mom, do you think toy rotation is a good idea? And I'm like, you're almost 16. Like, why? We haven't even talked about, like, you don't even have toys anymore, right? And I was like, why do you ask? And which, by the way, when your teens ask you like kind of random questions, sometimes saying why do you ask is actually like gives really helpful details. They don't give all the info right away, right? Because there's been times where I'm like, oh, this is a totally different direction. I'm gonna take this answer a totally different direction than what I thought you were asking, right? So I'm like, why do you ask? And she said, oh, I saw this reel about a mom with 2 little girls that rotates toys. And I said, I've actually discussed this a lot inside of our membership, and we have landed on no, you don't need to rotate toys, because the fallacy there is that, and this ties into craft stuff too though, but is the fallacy is that toys are what keep kids occupied, and that's not the truth. It's actually their imagination that keeps them occupied. So what we need to do as parents is actually just set the stage for them to use their beautiful imaginations. And what that stage looks like is very simple supplies. And I asked Adam, I'm like, do you remember, like, you guys could play with cardboard boxes, masking tape, markers, and scissors for hours on end. And I've showed pictures in the past of the things they would create. It was nothing I would ever even dreamed of, right? They would pull stuff out of the recycling, Amazon boxes, of course, it just like went to them, right? And she was like, yeah, no, she's like, that was awesome. So I was like, it was very simple materials. Now, on the other hand, though, Adeline was also still is our most crafty. And she would get like all the art kits, and she would often use her money to buy her own crochet things and knitting and diamond dots and paint by number and the little clay things, like anything you can imagine she has done, right? And so, but what we had to do was keep it very simplified, because when her desk and art area was simplified, she would literally get up in the morning and go straight there and start working on something, whatever she was working on. But the key was she had to be able to easily see it and not be overwhelmed by a lot of stuff around her. Once her desk would start to get messy, piled up, overwhelmed, she wouldn't do that. Then it'd be like, go watch TV, go do something else. And so I had been observing this. And so what I had to do was say, hey, Adeline, it's okay if you have half-finished projects that you don't want to finish. And so when we would go through her craft supplies and desks, I'd have to say, like, it's literally okay if you throw that stuff away. Like, you get to decide, like, oh, does that excite me to think about going back and finishing it? Or is it like, ugh, like I should, or I have to, or whatever. And that gave a lot of freedom in not keeping old stuff. Now, like, it could feel wasteful, right? Like, oh, we're throwing away this like whole kit. Also, a bunch of those kits are crap. You've also probably experienced as a parent. But we learned a lot through the process. And what I observed in her, so I gave her permission to throw stuff away. We kept things pared down. She was still very creative, even with limited supplies. But over time, she became very selective, and even to the point where sometimes she'd be looking at like a crochet pattern. She got into making those like little cute animals. I forget what they're called. And she would say, Mom, I'm looking at all the colors needed for this. I don't want to get all of those yarns, but this one only has 3 and I already have 2 of them. So I think I'm going to do this one. And so she was already starting to be aware of the inventory, not acquiring too much and all that, right? Beautiful, right? I mean, that's ideal. And so again, this is not to put anyone down or to shame you if you are creative or crafty. It's to say, one, I feel like you will be more inspired in a simplified space. So if you've been feeling kind of like, I used to love to do that, but I don't, look at this space. And is it too cluttered? And then 2, permission to let go of extra inventory. We're all learning and figuring this out. So if you have partially finished products, you have stuff you just know you're not going to use, right? Permission to let that go. Whether you donate it, find an adult day center to donate it to, preschool, whatever, church, or you toss it in a black trash bag. But I think you're going to feel more inspired in a simplified environment. And my mom, she brings it out to the dining room table, which is great because every so often it has to get cleared off so we can use it to eat, right? And so, but that it's like, as soon as it gets too much, I can even tell that with her, it's not as fun, right? And so she's been very intentional about simplifying all of her supplies too, and keeping it pared down. We talk about that a lot, and she's like, oh, I see these other women and they have like a whole room and all this. And she'll admit like that was her in the past too, but now she's learned how she operates the best. So again, when we're thinking about this idea of that, like, being creative and doing stuff like that, or learning new things or whatever, that it is something that is life-giving to us. For many of us, it gives us a sense of purpose. But if it's been feeling like a drag or not as exciting to you, then look at your space, and are there things that you could do to simplify it that would make it more inspiring? Again, I just have to grab a Kleenex real quick, and then I will be right back. I'm like, do I do that thing where I just keep like this, or just actually? Okay, awesome. All right. Do we still rent the Airbnb? I haven't been. It actually wasn't available over the whole summer. But I think I'm just going to video out here for the fall now. I think I kind of achieved what I wanted to, showed a lot of things in there that I do differently. And I actually love being out here and feel very inspired in this space. So you'll probably see me out here a lot more now. How do you know if you're over decluttering? I don't know that there is a thing. As human beings, we were not meant to manage stuff or to inventory things. And so if you still have something to wear and food to eat, I mean, your base needs are met. I don't think you can go too far with it. How can I start a productive conversation with friends and family drowning in stuff? My heart wants them to feel how good decluttering feels, but don't want to sound preachy. You know, I am glad you said this. This is like how I feel all the time. I'm like, how straight should I be today? Like, just be like, you have to get rid of it. You don't understand. Like, there's too much on the line, you know, or just be like, hey, here's a very kind invitation if you're interested, you know. Okay, so it is very important that they're in a place to be able to do something with the information you're sharing, right? And so that's a different point for all of us. And so, you know, I would just start sharing about it, like, oh, I've been decluttering this and I can't believe how good it feels, and see if they're receptive. Like, are they like, oh, tell me more? Or like, yeah, I've been needing to declutter my kitchen too. And then you're like, oh, you know, I watched this YouTube video that was actually really helpful. Could I send it to you? And I always like to ask permission before sending something like that. We've all had the thing. Oh man, we've all had the thing where someone gives, you know, unwanted advice. I've used that line, that unwanted advice is criticism. But if someone asks if they can send you something, you're always like, oh, okay, well, I have a choice or not, you know, whatever. If they, you know, if they send it, you're like, well, I said they could. So anyways, so I would just start talking about your experience with them and then see if it seems like they're receptive. But sharing your experience is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Nina says, just like you, I also had a difficult year. How do I let go of all the negative emotions and start working on difficult tasks again? Okay, this is a great question. I'm really glad you asked this, because if we have kind of been like out of the game again, whether it's decluttering or, you know, all your household paperwork or something you need to do at work or something like that, when we've been out of the game for a while, we build those things up to be so big and scary. And I love, Dana talks about all the time, like, you know, she'll be like, start with trash. Like, there's always trash. There's always easy stuff. And as I've worked with more women and look around in my own space and my parents' house now and stuff, I'm like, yeah, you know, there actually are always easy things, right? And we've been in our membership community, we've been working in the like back basement entrance of my parents' house, like where my dad and brother come in and stuff. And I've been thinking about the idea of having the kids come in there for the winter with all their winter stuff. And so we've been like cleaning it up and organizing it. And, you know, flat surfaces do what flat surfaces do. So there's like a shoe bench there that had accumulated some things. And also, does this ever happen at your house, like up the steps, right? Do you know what the problem is? None of that stuff was my stuff. And so who am I to come in and start, you know, decluttering and organizing someone's stuff? So for a while, I kind of shied away from it. And then I'm like, well, we gotta do something with this, right? And so one of our first steps, like, and we say like no hard decisions, skip over anything hard, is just to categorize. And when we categorize things, it gives us really valuable information. So I'm looking at the steps and this stuff piled up on them, and I'm just categorizing. And I'm like, oh, there's store receipts here. So I'm like, okay, apparently my brother and dad, when they like empty their pockets or whatever, they just had a pile of store receipts. There were some like protein powder. I have to ask my brother. I don't know quite why he keeps his protein powder on the basement steps. I think he mixes it into his coffee in the morning, but there was a few different things of protein powder and empty packages, right? That just needed to go in the garbage. There was a bunch of work gloves. And so we're sorting it out. And then there was just some like truly weird miscellaneous stuff that I just grouped all together. But then as I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, if this really is a place where protein powder lives, well, let's just get a container for it and put it on top of the shelves down there. And then it looks like they need a receptacle for receipts, because to ask them to like bring them to where my mom does all their bookwork and stuff is totally unrealistic, right? But I do believe my dad and brother are actually fairly organized when there are systems for them to use. They're not going to implement them, but they will cooperate with that. So I'm like, what if there's just a container for receipts? I really do believe they will put them in there, right? Or at the worst, if someone else is tidying up the area, they can put the receipts in there, right? So I'm like, okay, we need a container for receipts. And then we also created a basket for work gloves. And they had like this big bin of work gloves, way more work gloves than anyone could wear in a lifetime. And so we pared down to what fit in the container, and then the rest we're going to donate so someone else can make use of them. But all of that to say, it from the onset, it just felt daunting. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with any of it. Like, it's just that random, but once we got into it, it was like, oh, okay. Like, actually, a lot of this I can figure out things for. There's still a very small percentage that I'm like, I literally don't know what that is or what to do with that. And I'm like, Corbin, take it down to the shop, or whatever. But it wasn't until I got into it that I realized, like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. And so, like, if your whole dining room table is covered with stuff, right? All you have to do is walk up to it and say, all I have to do is categorize. I just have to sort like with like. I don't have to make a hard decision. I don't have to get rid of a single thing on here if I don't want to. All I'm doing is categorizing. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to work on it for 5 minutes, and then I can be done with it. And you're going to find that even if you do that, you're going to find some stuff to throw away or get rid of. But also, even if you're like, timer goes off, I'm done. Like, I don't want to keep working on this today. Your brain's going to keep working on it in the background. And you're like, yeah, there was that category of like old magazines. Like, what should I do? And then, you're probably going to come back a day or two later and be like, I'm just going to get rid of the magazines. Like, I'm never going to read them, right? Or whatever. Or, oh, there was this miscellaneous craft supplies on there. Okay, do I want to keep them? Do I want to finish that? Dawn says I don't have to, right? So maybe it would feel good just to toss them in my black trash bag right now. And so even when you walk away from it, your brain is going to continue working in the background to problem solve it, which is a beautiful thing. Because then the next time you come up to it, it's not going to feel so scary. And you're going to have a game plan formulating in your head. The hardest thing is just getting started again. So set the timer for 5 minutes. Recruit a friend, text a friend, say, hey, I'm going to tackle this today. If you can find other support systems, that works too. I'll try and be a little shorter with my answers here moving forward. I've been struggling with memory box items. I have a container, but haven't been able to get down to it fitting in there. Thoughts on how to pare down further. So number one, sentimental stuff is the hardest of hardest stuff. Because it's not replaceable, right? And so number one, make sure you're in a mindset, in a season of life where you feel good about tackling that kind of stuff. And then number two, I would even sort that out and say, what are the most special memories? What are the medium special memories? And what are the lesser special ones? Because again, we look at a memory box and we're like, everything is so special. It's the most special thing. And it's actually not. Right. But I do think, again, if you have the bandwidth for it, paring it down to one container is such a kindness to you, but also to any family member that you're going to pass it on to. Giving them a curated collection of things is a gift. Giving them a bunch of crap overflowing is not, right? So I would just say, if you have the bandwidth right now, work on categorizing it. I think it's going to become a little bit more clear what to keep and what to let go. Jesslyn says, how did you even come up with 5 days to an organized Christmas? It literally changed my life and is my favorite thing you do, which is saying a lot. Well, thanks, Jesslyn. Yeah, Jesslyn's actually one of our body doubling coaches. So inside of our membership group, we also do body doubling twice a day. I'm telling you, so this is why I talk about it all the time. I know it's $22 a month, but like the value you will get inside of there, I make sure you get your money's worth, right? Anyways, so we do body doubling twice a day, which again, if you're kind of like just lacking motivation, my mom's been joking. I'll answer Jesselyn's question. That my mom's been joking because she retired earlier this spring. And she's like, do I need to get a job again? Because she's like, I don't have a schedule. Like I don't have to get done things by certain times, right? I'm like, well, pop into our body doubling, right? Twice a day. You can do dishes, you can declutter, whatever you got to do. Make phone calls that are scary. So how this originally came about actually was my twin sister, Diana, was making a holiday planner for her community. And I was like, ooh, I should do that too. And then, so the first year we did it together, the 5 days to an organized Christmas. And again, we were going to just start out with one day, like one workshop to go through our planners, like, oh, this will be fun. And then, like I said, when we realized, like, OMG, like there's just there's no way you could cover it in one day. Then we were just like, it has to be multiple days. I think it was the next year she was pregnant. So then I did it with like Kelly and Christine and whatnot, or she was having a baby. I don't know. So it's evolved a little bit. This year it's going to be very multimedia interactive. New and improved. It's going to be awesome. I'm actually like really excited. I'm really excited about it and to get to do it with y'all. But thank you, Jesslyn. I really appreciate that. Oh my goodness. I was in maintenance mode until we had surprise twins last year. My bandwidth went even lower, which I didn't realize was possible. I love that. Yeah, I was probably can relate to that. And I had to get even more serious with the decluttering. Yes. And there is just so much wisdom in decluttering down to your season of life. And it does feel weird. Sometimes we're like, I have to go that far. Like I have to go that far, like for reals. But if you will do it, talk about freedom and confidence and feeling like a really good mom. Like that's been one of the benefits too. That has just been awesome. Like really, really, really good. Love your videos. We're really missing a video once in a while with both you and Diana together. Will you be doing any of those again soon? I don't know. That's a good question. She is going to pop in on the 5 days to an organized Christmas. We're going to talk about difficult family dynamics together. So we will see her there. So here's what we're learning. So Diana's, her YouTube channel and stuff is all about like Bible study. And what was the problem we were running into is like, if I would go on her channel, it confuses YouTube about who to serve her videos to. And she's really just trying to stay like laser focused with that. And then sometimes people would come on and they'll be like, well, I don't want you to talk about faith or whatever. And she's like, it's like, that's literally what I do. Right. And then I'm like, I don't mind talking about faith, but also I don't actually care what your faith background is. I just want to help you get your house decluttered. So it just, sometimes it just made it confusing for people. So you will get to see her though in the 5 days to an organized Christmas. Curious if you'll host future meet and greets live events. I live in Twin Cities area and love to meet you in person. Oh yeah, yes, I actually really would love to do that. And my hope is for next year to do more of that. I think I can say this. Yeah, we talked about it. So for Cass, Dana and I are going to be at the ADHD conference in Austin in March. And so Jackie, will you help me get details for that into the description of this video? And so we are planning on doing a meetup for anyone in the Take Your House Back course and for anyone that goes to the conference, but it would be fun to meet anyone down in that area. So I will keep you posted. If you're on our email list, you're the first to find out about things like that. And if you sign up for the planner and Christmas stuff, you know how it goes. You'll be on our email list, but you can unsubscribe at any time. But that's how you would know about that. I mean, I'll talk about it on here too. And then also at any time, if you email support@theminimalmom.com, if you have any questions or anything, you can do that. And Kristen and Jackie will help you out there as well. So Megan says, so relatable. I had to let go of so much recently. I'm pregnant with a 2-year-old and I had really bad nausea. Oh yeah. In first trimester this time around. Bye to my hobbies for a while and accepting it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So with the girls, I was like, I had morning sickness. Like it was kind of that like all day sickness. And I was just like, ugh. Oh, I didn't even know what morning sickness was until I was pregnant with the boys. Now, not as bad. I know some are like sick all their whole pregnancy and throwing up and like really bad things. It wasn't that bad. It was just to the point where I would get home from work and all I could do was lay on the couch and let the kids watch TV, you know? And it was so hard. And also during that time, you know, so I found minimalism. Gage was just an infant. And I thought, I'm like, I'm going to get to a point again where I can do my craft projects. I love to sew and just like home decor and that, you know, and I'm like, I'll be able to do that. Right. Yeah. It still has never come again. Right. But there's so much freedom in just accepting where we're at in our season of life. And sometimes it comes with grieving, you know, sometimes you're having kids. It's like kind of a fun, you know, thing and, you know, easier to lay down things for a season. often when there's other things though going on with health challenges or caring for loved ones with health challenges or other just hard things going on, that can make it a lot harder to say like, oh, I have to let this stuff go. But if we can get to that point, there is like so much freedom in just only managing what you're capable of managing right now. So I'm glad you shared that, Megan. It's not always easy. And sometimes a little tricky to figure out what has to go, but yeah, it makes a big difference. Okay, yeah. I was fine with my first this time around. Both boys. Oh, isn't that interesting? It was funny. So we actually celebrated Gage's birthday this week. And so he was our fourth. And so we knew with the girls, like we did, the ultrasounds and they said, oh, you're having girls. We're like, okay. And then with our third, and I've told this story before, but we did the ultrasound. They're like, oh, another girl. And we're like, okay, 3 girls, like, it is what it is. You just want healthy babies, right? But it was so weird because with, and then Corbin, when we go on to be born, with Corbin, I was so sick. And I'm like, there's no way. How can this child be a girl? Like it just was such a different pregnancy. And I know it's not all the same for everyone, right? And so I was just like, when he said it was a girl, I was just like, no way. And then I learned like he was wrong, the doctor. It was actually the doctor that did it. We were at this like small hospital at the time. Anyways, he even told Tom, he was like, I have a little extra time, because he could tell Tom was a little disappointed, right? And he was like, I have a little extra time, I'll look again. And he's like, I don't normally give percentages, but 97% chance this is a girl, right? And then we actually delivered at a different hospital. And so, we were in the delivery room talking about baby names. It would be Greta Marie. And then, they come out and it's a boy. And I'm like, don't mess with me. like, no, really, it's a boy. And so anyways, that was fun. So we didn't find out with Gage because I'm like, well, they could tell us and I'm not going to believe it anyways. And by the 4th, I was like, we have girl stuff, we have boy stuff, who cares, right? But I was so sick again. And I'm like, I know this baby's a boy. Like I just like, anyways. So he was born 11 years ago. My baby is 11 now. And we had fun celebrating his birthday this week. We got him the Minecraft crafting table kit, Lego kit. It has 1,100 pieces and he is like going to town on it right now and having so much fun with it. So anyways, I would recommend that for a Christmas gift, except good night. It was like $89. Like the price of Legos is just absurd, I think. But anyways, it's giving him something to do, keeping him occupied. So, it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, it is. It is so interesting though, how everyone's pregnancies are all different and all of that. So awesome. All right. Does anyone have any questions about the planner or the organized Christmas workshops? I'd be happy to answer that. I did add this year, there's a full section on Thanksgiving. And I was just like showing it to my mom, like Thanksgiving checklist, like 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out. I'm like, Mom, do you realize like Thanksgiving, you kind of just think of as like the warm up event to like the real holidays, right? I'm like, do you know how much actually goes into even Thanksgiving? And the funniest thing I was showing her is I'm like, we should actually can we sit down and fill this out? Because one page is the Thanksgiving guest list. Now, we have the same people to Thanksgiving every year, right? Except that we have this habit of I'll tell Diana one time for a Thanksgiving meal. My mom will tell my aunt a different time, right? And it gets all mixed up. And then even my aunt, we don't know, is she bringing one person with, 3 people with, is she bringing my cousins or not, right? So it's who, their name, how many guests are there, and what are they bringing, right? So you can assign people things to bring, and have they RSVP'd, and then any special requests. So I'm even just taking a few minutes to fill out this kind of stuff. We have the Thanksgiving meal plan. We can set that so then we can assign people things. The Thanksgiving shopping list by category, shopping the non-perishables ahead of time. The week of Thanksgiving, what can you do the weekend before, day of, and then the actual cooking schedule for the day of, to-do list, what you got to do that day. I'm I don't want to throw my mom under the bus, but Thanksgiving's gonna be rough. My dad's like, well, I'm gonna do this and I'll get this in the oven. Mom's like, no, we have cheesy hash browns that have to go in the oven at that time, and I'm like, I just feel like this I'm not expecting a perfect Thanksgiving. Like that, I'm not delusional, right? But I feel like this is gonna make a difference, right? So anyway, yes, but I'm kind of excited about it. But I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Budget spending, really exhaustive gift list, master holiday budget, gift brainstorming guide. Do you even realize how many people you buy gifts for or think about that you should buy gifts for? It's crazy. And then the tactful ways to opt out of gift exchanges as well. So anyways, I'm really looking forward to that. And again, you can sign up for free. Just pop your email into the link down below. Can we get a hard copy of a planner? You know, I would like to do that for next year. Like I said, this year it's way new and improved. So I want to get it all ironed out. And then next year I would like to offer that because it is 100 pages. So I had this printed at Office Max. And with the color cover and like clear, I had a clear cover on it, and then black and white inside, it was still, and they have a coupon code for 25% off Office Depot, excuse me. It was still like $24. And the paper's like not even that great of quality, and it's like front and back. So, I mean, that's an option, but like, it wasn't like the most cheapest thing ever. So, but I do love, you know, and there's spots for like reflection at the end of the year and everything. I do love, you know, having this with you as you head into like next year to look at your notes and past things. And then we also do have a section for grieving through the holidays too. I think that really gets overlooked and that bums me out. So there's a section for that in there, dealing with difficult family. So lots of good stuff in there. I really truly hope that it is helpful to you. Is the workshop recorded? Yes, absolutely. Doesn't expire. Watch anytime. You know, put on in the background while you're doing dishes that night. Yep, you'll get access to all of the replays. Again, totally free. Like, no loopholes. I don't like when they're like, oh, you can watch it free for like an hour. And then, you know, none of us have it. Like, I don't want you to have to use any like of your precious brain energy on this, right? Like conserve that for the important things, right? So yeah, awesome. All right. Yeah. So each day of the 5 days, we're doing a trash bag toss, like guided. Like I'm gonna say, okay, now everybody get up, get your black trash bag, let's go. And we're gonna do it together. The last day is like the bag of blessing, where do you have stuff that you could donate? And you know, I love this comment. Women's shelters, domestic violence shelters are a fabulous place to donate any and all crafting items. Art therapy is so effective. I love that. Along with, you know, unused, like brand new bathroom products. You know, in Minnesota, any winter gear is always appreciated, blankets, that kind of stuff. I love the idea that like, why would we let it waste away in our homes getting unused if there are actually people out there that could make use of it? Now, my only caveat for that is like, make sure that you have the bandwidth for that right now, right? Dana will often say like, don't be a hero with your decluttering, because like, it's beautiful. And I love these ideas. And also like, there's nothing worse than getting stuff like boxed up and like, I'm going to bring this to the women's shelter, and then it just sits there or tries right in the back of your car because you don't actually have time for it. So if you know you can do it and get it there, awesome. Let's do it. Let's go to town. If not, like, let's just be realistic. Maybe in the new year or somewhere else, some other time, we'll have time for it. So awesome. Well, it's been so great to get to spend this time with you. I've appreciated like all your kind words on my master's degree and all of your encouragement, everything. And I just want to reciprocate that and say, you know, I believe in you. I want to see you just get to do all the things that you have hoped to do. And I know the confidence is often the precursor. So I want to help you get your house decluttered. I want that to build your confidence. And then I want you just to go on to like the coolest things ever, because I know all of us have that inside. Like there's actually nothing that special about me. I just, for whatever reason, found Joshua Becker 10 years ago and decided to go all in on decluttering my house. And then the rest just kind of unfolded how it has. And so I know that that's like inside of all of us. And so that's why I'm really excited for you. I know life can get lifey sometimes, and we go through different seasons where you're just like, yeah, right. Right. But I do believe if we stick together, we give each other permission to let stuff go and stick with that process, that like, man, the best really is yet to come. And I'm excited for that for you. And I can't wait to hear about it. And I hope you email and tell us all about it, you know? So, all right. Well, I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.